welcome to our practical hands-on for the IPv6 network. I'm Dr. Tan. So today we were going to explore how to configure the IPv6 addresses by trying on the serverless alternative. The first one, we were going to try how to configure the static IPv6. Then we're going to learn how about to using the TCP server to allocate the IPv6 address to your router and also to explore on the stateless SLAAC generations of the IP address. So we are wasting the times on today's. We were going to use the three routers, router 1, 2, 3, which each of the router will having a one port. Okay, so you can go into open your ENSP. Okay, just open the new topology, go to your router. You can select the 2220 or 2224 so that you have enough interface. Okay, if you select 201 also no issues there. So you just double click. Okay, router, maybe I need to change the positions. Okay. Router 1, router 2. So this one you were going to select the copper. So select the G00 to router 1, G00, and then router 2 you can select the G001 to G001 on here. So without wasting the times, you can go into start your network devices router. So you can rename your router 1, router 2, and also your router 3. Okay. Okay, now all my router already start handling. The same thing like always, we will going to enter a system, view system name and name your router as your normal metric. Okay, and then put it as your router 1. So same go to router 2. Enter a system view, system name as your normal metric and router 2. The same thing for your router 3. BI23 or 22. Okay, name it as your router 3. Okay, to enable the IPv6, so the first thing you need to under your router to enable the IPv6. So you just type IPv6. So send, go to your router to enable it by typing the IPv6 on your router. Sends for your router 3. So enable your IPv6. So this command, if you just type in this command, that means it will go into enable your device to forward your IPv6 unicast packet. Okay. So after that, now you already enable. Okay, don't forget on each of the interface, you need to also enable the IPv6. So now on our topology here, we will going to using a G00. So enter your router 1 G00, G00. Okay, and then you will go into IPv6, but on the interface you need to type to enable. That means you enable the IPv6 functions. So same, go to your router 2 interface G00. So go into IPv6 enable. Okay, the same things go quit. Okay, we still have another interface under your router 2G002 IPv6 enable. The same thing go to your router 3. Okay, router 3 we are using a interface for the G001. So enter your G001. Okay, IPv6 enable. Okay, now you already enable all those IPv6 functions or all the devices interface. So the first thing we want to do is to let your interface to automatically generate the link locker address. Okay, so for example, we were going to apply it for the outdoor generations. For the link locker address, we let the router 1. Okay, so the same things, go back to your router 1 under your G000. So we were using an IPv6 address. Okay, then you're going to type outdoor link locker. That means you auto generate a link locker address. IPv6 address, outdoor link locker. Okay, the same things you were going to move, okay, to your router 2. Okay, we go to a second G00. Sorry. I don't have G002. On router 2, actually, I'm using a G001. So quit. Okay, so here we do back enter the interface G001, enable the IPv6, enable. Okay, so now you under the G001, you were going to type enable the IPv6 address. I want to auto the link locker address generations. Okay, quit, then move to a G00. Okay, enter the interface G00. Okay, select the same one, IPv6. Okay, address, auto, link locker. Okay, so if you're going to get some status like this, that means it's successfully. So the same things, you need to go to your router 3, IPv6, address, auto, what you want to do the auto for the link locker address. Okay, now if let's say you want to check whether your interface status is up or down, okay, you can just go to the returns, okay, or you quit it, then you just go to display your IPv6 interface. So I want to display a G00. Under the router 3, we are using a G001. So make sure the status, it will be displayed out. And then this is the link locker address. They have been automatically generated. That means using the EUI. So remember here, if you're going to see the FFFE, that means they based on your MAC address. Okay, insert the cut half, insert the FFFE, like what I mentioned under during the class, and check. Okay, also on your seconds decimal, okay, to change it to be your 7-bit. Change it from the 0 to 1 or 1 to 0. Okay, so you can go into C also. Okay, the address. Okay, and then the DAD, you still not going to enable on it. So you can go each of the interface and looking on their link locker address there. Okay, so if let's say I want to test the connectivity, now I want to check the router 1 and also the router 2, their connectivities, whether it's okay or not. Okay, so normally I will go into ping the address. So to ping the address, of course, on here, you will going to read this one. So you will going to display the IPv6 interface. Like just now, display the IPv6 interface for the G00. Okay, so you are going to obtain, this is a link locker, the IPv6 link locker address. Copy, then you go to your router 1. Okay, you can go to your router 1. Okay, so I ping my IPv6 address from the router B. Okay, dash I for the source. So I will going to ping from the G00. So you are going to see they were going to reply to you. But the address is a little bit complicated because we are using a link locker address of the IPv6. Okay, so remember when you're going to ping your local address, most of the times you need to specify your source interface. Okay, like here just now I going to mention is I using a -i. Okay, mana saya punya ping on here. Okay, I going to ping. If no, I just display one more time for you guys. Okay, I put where is it for my source. Okay, so I will going to start from the IPv6 source interface, or you can go into determine the G00 link local address also can. Okay, so you just ping one more time. So you are getting the reply, but it's reply from your destination step. Okay, so the next one you will go into the router 2. Okay, on router 2 for your interface for the G00 and G001, we will going to allocate is a static IP address. If let's say how you going to configure the static IP address is just like how you going to configure your IPv4. So you need to go to the interface. Okay, and then you type IPv6. Okay, you need not IP address. IP address is IPv4. You need to type IPv6 address. So what is the link local address? Okay, 0012. So you assign double 2. So all is 00. Is a double columns. This one we call it as a double column. That means all is a 0000. Okay, 2. So your subnet mask network, okay, is a 64. Okay, 2000, 0, I got extra 10 on here. Should be 2. Okay. This one I got put extra. Okay, 0012. So double semicolon 264. Okay, then you can go into quit. The same thing if let's say I want to assign G001. So enter tell them IPv6 address. So what's the address I need to assign? Example here is I assign a 00123. Okay, or I can go into just based on your example. Like example, they using a 22, 23, 2. So we are using a network mask 64. Okay, so now another one we will going to try is we going to enable the router 2 as a DHCP server. Okay, then the router 2, if we're going to assign the IPv6 to the router 3. Okay, so the first thing you need to go through your router 2, quit. Okay, SEMA we stay under the router 2. You need to enable the DHCP enable. Okay, now you enable the DHCP, we need to tell what actually the range of the IPv6 address that you can go into assign. So you need to create the DHCP version because now you assign is a IPv6. So you need to type the DHCP version 6. Okay, the pool name, I name it as a pool 1. Pool name, I name it as a pool 1. Okay, enter. So now I enter. So I will going to using the address prefix. Okay, 2000, 0023. So semicolon. I using a 64 network mask. Okay, so after that, I will going to enable the DNS server also. So I just going to type the DNS server 2000, 0023, semicolon 2. Okay, so this one is going to assign the IP address for your DNS server. Okay, so the next step we will going to quit it. Okay, then we will going to enter your interface, and then we're going to assign to the pool. Okay, remember you need to go to the interface and telling which one you were going to assign. Okay, like this one, because the router 2, which interface is connected to your router 3, is the interface G00, right? So we will going to assign under the G00. So and 001. So enter interface G001. Okay, then you go into DHCP version 6. Remember IPv6 you need to type version 6. So the server is a pool 1. So you quit it. Okay, now this one you already enable the router 2 as a DHCP server. You already assign the range of the prefix. Okay, and then you already also enable the G001 interface stack. Okay, the next step is you need to configure on your client side to obtain the IPv6 address from your DHCP server. So the same things you need to move. Now we need to move to the router 3. Okay, enter the system view. So enable the DHCP. Enable. So enter a G001. So we will going to tell them IPv6 address auto by using a DHCP. Okay, IP address auto DHCP. So you can go into quit. Okay, now you can also going to check what actually the IPv6 address under your one. Under your router 3, you just going to display IPv6 interface brief. Or you just type interface brief also can. So you are going to see you will have a art, and then you will have the IP address there automatically assigned. And also you can go into view also. Sorry. You can go into display also your DNS server. Display DNS server. Okay, so on here you are going to see you have a one DNS server here. Okay, so remember this one, your DHCP server, you did not have a gateway to the client. Okay, so when the DHCP version 6 stateful mode is configured, DHCP client will learn the default route, okay, from the IPv6 where the IPv6 outdoor global default. So that's why on here you not need to assign the IPv6 defaults there. Okay, however, when you enable the stateless mode, okay, the DHCP server, they were going to learn the global unicast IPv6 address and the default route to the IPv6 gateway through the command. Okay, so example, now you want to do under your router 2 again. Okay, you want to let the DHCP server to allocate the gateway to the client. Okay, now we will go back the DHCP. We will going to undo the system. Okay, to enable a system to send the RA. Okay, so that it can go into learn the IP address there. So you go back to the router 2 on here. Under your interface G001. Okay, you are going to undo your IPv6. Okay, and the RA host. So that you are going to enable your router 2 to send the RA. Okay. So after that, you are going to set the manage field. That means we need to enforce that the host, okay, that means your router 3, we're going to use the stateful outdoor configurations to obtain the IP address. Okay, by default, here you did not set up the flag. So how you going to set up the flag? You were using the IPv6 and okay, your outdoor configured manage So here you were going to put the address, you were going to set the flag. So the flag here is a M flag, huh? Okay, so if here I'm going to set the flag, okay, I just manage address flag. So you are going to set the N flag. So if you set the N flag, the host, you are going to obtain the IP address with the stateful outdoor configurations. Okay, if let's say you did not going to set the N flag, that means they were using a stateless. Okay, IP address stateless outdoor configurations to attempt your IPv6. Okay, so if example on here, okay, under my router, the same things, okay, I end the outdoor configurations, but I did not going to set the M flag manage. I going to set is a other flag. So that's to enable the stateless. Okay, others. Others, that means all flag lah. Okay, what happens if I going to run these configurations offline? Okay, that means you were going to did not set the flag. So if you're going to set a host, you were using a stateful outdoor configurations to obtain the other configurations parameters. Okay, including you can go into refers to your explanations on here. Okay, if you set the outdoor manage M, okay, it sets that means you will attempt your IPv6 through a stateful. But if you did not going to type this one, that means you were using a stateless. So we got another flag is a all flag, or we call it as a other flag. So if we're going to set this other flag, that means you are using is a stateful. Okay, to obtain the other configurations except for the IPv6. So what's the parameters that you are going to obtain? Router, number reachable times, retransmissions interface, and also the PMTU. But if let's say you are clear, so that means you can obtain, okay, the others configurations, okay, in a stateless. Okay, that means N and O flag, whenever you're going to set it, you are going to apply is a stateful. If you did not set it, so that means they were using a stateless. Okay? Okay, now you can go into continues to follow. Okay, on the here. So you can go to your router tree. Okay, so you enter the IP in the system. Enter your interface. This one we're using is a interface G001. Okay, so under your G001, you were going to using, okay, the IP address, IPv6 address, auto global default. Okay, this one to let your client to learn the report routes through the RA message that's sent by your router too. Okay, now you can under quit your router interface G001. You can display your IPv6 routing tables. Display IPv6. Okay, so this one you can go into see, okay, you have a 4 destinations and you have a 4 routes there. Okay, how they going to reach out. Okay, now the same things, you can go into configure your router 1, okay, to obtain the IPv6 address in a stateless mode. But before that, you need to go through your router 2 to enable your router 2 G00 here to enable your RA. So now you quit, you enter a G00. Enter on this side, G00. Okay, then you are going to undo the same thing like just now. You need to enable the RA, you need to undo IPv6 and the RA port. Okay. undo, not typo. Okay, after that, what you need to do, go to your router 1, okay, enter your system view. Router 1 I did not name. System BI23 XXX router 1. Okay, so now under your router 1, you enter your G000. Okay, we will going to enable the stateless address auto configuration. So we enter the interface, we will type the IPv6 address auto global defaults. Don't have the default. IPv6 address auto global. Okay, then you can go into quiz, then you can go into display your IPv6 interface brief. Okay, you will going to attempt your IPv6 address lah. Okay. Okay, the next step, like just now I mentioned, we want to do the configurations for the router 1 to reach up the router 3. Okay, maybe I'm going to show you the address of the router 1, router 3 so that you did not go into confuse and understand why the purpose you need to do a static route. So enter your system. Okay, then you're going to enter your interface. Display IPv6 interface brief so that you're going to see under your G00, this one is your IP address there. Okay. Then you are going to enter also your router 2. Okay, on here you are going to type display your IPv6 brief also. So you can see under your G00, you are using this IP address. Okay, you assign and then you go back again under your router 2, your G001, you are using 23. Okay, then after that under your router 3, same things you're going to display. So you are going to see under your G001, your attempt is this one. So your network mask, it will be a /64. This one no need I going to mention. If you want, you can go and put like this lah. 64, 64, 64, 64. Okay. Now, because you looking on here. Here, the router 1 and router 2 belong to the same network compared to the here. Okay, so that's why on here is a 2023, but here is a 12. So basically, they belong to a different network. And whenever you want to enable the router 1 to communicate with router 3, you need to build the root static, okay, to tell how to forward your package there. So the same things how you're going to do, you just like you go to your router 1, you now to do for the root statics, you have to tell the IPv6, not IP root static. For the IPv6, you need to type the IPv6 root static. Okay, so what is your destination? Okay, my destinations, I will go through a 2000s double semicolon 23. Okay, with my network is a 64. Okay, so my next one, I will go through a G00 under my router 2. So here I will go into text 2012.2. Okay, make sure you follow. Okay, 64, and then you type for this one. Then you are going to enter. This one, why is wrong? IP root stat IP root static 2000. Sorry, I typed the wrong one. It should be only a 1. Sorry. Yeah, I put the double semicolon. Okay, you create the IP root static on here. It's just one because sorry, I put the wrong. Okay, now you already tell under the router 1, okay, what actually is a static root. So you should able to ping out your IPv6 address for the 2000 destinations 23.1. So you should be able to get the deploy lah. If you're not getting the deploy, that means the roots statics you are doing the wrong one. Make sure you recheck again your IP address for each of the router 3, okay, router 2 interface G00 before you do the configuration step. Okay, the same things under your router 1, you can go into display IPv6 enable. Is display always typo. Okay, so you can go in to see who is your delvo. So it's a G00, okay, then the IPv6 address there. Okay, so totals you have to enable there. Okay, so that's all for our configurations for the IPv6. So remember, whenever you're going to assign the address, you enable the DHCP server, or you have to apply is a version 6 v6. So that's all for the configurations and hands-on for the IPv6 network. See you again on the next practical hands-on. Bye.